What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. Now the purple tank will be here before you know it. So in this video, we're going to compare the Desert Tank to the Tank Blitz. This video will serve as a really good guide to look back on comparing the two microcell balls that we have in our current line. Now before we get started in this video, I just want to share with you guys that I finally set up a Patreon account, which will be linked down below in the description. The website is patreon.com/motivlou. So for right now, I'm going to have two tiers on my Patreon account, starting at just $5 a month. Some of the benefits that you can gain right away from joining my Patreon is behind the scenes look at how I make my videos. You're going to have access to a members only Discord server, a members only Facebook group. You're also going to have access to member only live streams, and then many more benefits to come. Now look, obviously this Patreon service isn't going to be for everyone. This is for the bowler that wants to be better just like I do. I want to be the best bowler that I can, and I invite you to join me on this journey so that we can become the best bowlers that we can together. I really believe that together we can make the dream work. If you guys like this video, I would super appreciate it if you hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date every time I drop a new video. And if you like this jersey, which is my own personal custom design, I would implore you to go to logoinfusion.com or iambowling.com and use my promo code Lewis, and that'll get you 20% off your entire order. And then let me know down below in the comments what you think about this jersey, and if you think that Logo Infusion and I Am Bowling should be selling it. Alright, so let's start with the Tank Blitz. Now the Tank Blitz could be labeled as an older ball by now just because it's been around for so long, but don't let it fool you. This ball is an absolute beast. The Tank Blitz features the gear core, like I've always said, is one of the greatest cores of all time, which has an RG of 2.48 and a max differential of 0.034 in 15 pounds. And then wrapped around that gear core is the Frixion Plus microcell polymer cover, which comes out of box at a 2000 grit laser scan sand. And then with the layout on this Blitz is the same layout that I'm going to have on the Desert Tank that we're comparing. It's going to be 45 by 4 by 25. Now the one really big thing to keep in mind with these microcell balls is that they are not urethane. I think the easiest way of me explaining what microcell is that the microcell balls absorb oil, which unlike urethane, because urethane does not absorb oil at all whatsoever, but it absorbs oil at a fraction of the rate of traditional reactive resin bowling balls. So the reactive resin balls are going to absorb a ton more oil than the microcell balls, but still more than urethane. So you're going to get a shape on the lane that is reminiscent of urethane, but with significantly more continuation in the back part of the lane. And then all you have to do is use the eye test. You can't tell me that looking at a Tank Blitz going down the lane or even a Desert Tank shapes anything like urethane. Now the next ball we're going to talk about is the Desert Tank, and you guys know by now the Desert Tank is my favorite bowling ball of all time. It goes with me everywhere. It doesn't matter what the pattern is, doesn't matter anything, there will always be a Desert Tank in my bag. It's the daddy ball for me for a reason. So the Desert Tank features the Flux Core, which has an RG of 2.57 and a max differential of 0.015 in 15 pounds. So the cores in the Blitz and the Desert Tank are completely different. Wrapped around that Flux Core is that magical Frixion Plus Pearl microcell polymer cover, which is a pearl version of the cover that is on the Tank Blitz. And then it comes out of box at a 2000 grit laser scan sand. And then in this video, both of these bowling balls are freshly surfaced to a 2000 grit finish, just so that we can see the true differences on the lane between the two. And then the layout on the Desert Tank is the same as the Blitz, which is 45 by 4 by 25. Let me know down below in the comments if you have either the Tank Blitz or the Desert Tank drilled and what you're thinking about them so far. I'm going to take you guys on the lanes now so you can see the Tank Blitz and the Desert Tank in action. Thank you guys for joining me for my in-depth comparison between the Desert Tank and the Tank Blitz. Now as always, I'm going to show you every single shot that I threw in this session, the good shots and the bad. It is the only way to show you what two balls are truly capable of, and how they compare to each other on the same set of lanes is if I show you every single shot. Now as always, I am also bowling on a typical house shot here at South Point in Las Vegas. Now here at South Point there is an unbelievable amount of friction to the outside part of the lane, so these microcell balls like the Tank Blitz and the Desert Tank are always unbelievable options for me in this center. Now by this point the Desert Tank and the Tank Blitz can be labeled as older bowling balls, but like I said in the intro, the next video after this one that you're going to see see is my initial review of the Purple Tank, and I know that there's going to be a lot of questions about how these balls compare to the older tanks that we had, meaning the Tank Blitz and the Desert Tank. And I will 100% give you guys one-on-one comparisons between the Blitz and the Purple and the Desert and the Purple. But I wanted to give you guys an updated comparison between the Blitz and the Desert. So let's get into this comparison. Now, when it comes to the Blitz and the Desert, both of these bowling balls have a lot of lane time with me, so I know exactly where I need to play and what part of the lane I need to play with each of these bowling balls. The first thing that you should notice between both of these bowling balls is just how much straighter I have to play with the Desert Tank versus the Tank Blitz. Now, to me, that is a very, very good thing that you have both of these balls that are microcell covers, which with obviously different cores, but you can play completely different parts of the lanes, and that's what I really like about these bowling balls. What really impresses me the most about these microcell balls is just how versatile they are. The Desert Tank and the Tank Blitz both control the front part of the lane with ease. It is amazing. In the first 30 feet of the lane, I would say that they look a lot like urethane, but obviously in that back part of the lane, when you see that left turn, or if you're left-handed, that right turn, it is undeniable that these bowling balls are not urethane. The Tank Blitz is the most difficult ball to explain to someone who doesn't really know a lot about bowling. When I think of the Tank Blitz, I think of like the ultimate control ball. It is so strong up front, and then yes, it does create some shape down lane, but it's not a ton of shape. It is very continuous. It's like a urethane ball on steroids is what I feel like. It's a ball that I really like when I can throw it on the heavier patterns, when I can keep my angles a little bit more in front of me. If I'm being honest, if I was bowling for score right now, I probably wouldn't be in this Tank Blitz, just because I don't really like shaping this ball a whole lot, because as the night progresses, it doesn't push oil down lane, but it's gonna struggle to come around the corner, and then because the cover is so strong, it really forces me to the inside part of the lane. Versus the Desert Tank, with the Desert Tank, I can play significantly straighter and more up the lane than I can with the Tank Blitz. Now, the Desert Tank, I know you guys have heard me say this a million times, but as of right now, February 19th, when I am filming this voiceover, the Desert Tank is my favorite bowling ball that has ever been made. And I say that with a ton of confidence, because this bowling ball lets me play in a part of the lane that I really like to play, and a part of the lane that I typically excel at. A lot of times on these house shots, there is so much friction to the right that I cannot play up the lane. Well, this Desert Tank allows me to play in that part of the lane that I love to play in, and for that reason, it is my favorite bowling ball of all time. Now, obviously, something like a Jackal Ghost or Jackal Legacy or any of the Forges, they're going to be able to handle the higher volumes of oil that the Desert Tank cannot. But what I really like about this Desert Tank is the ability to play in the track or even right of the track, even on a house shot. Now, because most of my bowling is done on typical house shots, the Tank Blitz doesn't see nearly as much lane time as the Desert Tank for me. For me, the Tank Blitz is reserved mostly for the sport shots, or anytime I'm in a situation where there's an extreme over-under where I have to play in the oil and get it out to the friction, is when the Tank Blitz gets into play a lot. Now, when it comes time to recommending which one of these two bowling balls you should add into your bag or into your arsenal, I struggle with that question quite a bit. I understand that not everyone is going to love the Desert Tank nearly as much as I do. It can be a very niche bowling ball. So if you're someone who is speed dominant, I would highly recommend looking into this Tank Blitz. The cover on that Blitz is so strong that it's really hard to overthrow that bowling ball. Then if you like playing very, very straight and not give away the pocket as much, you're going to want to be in this Desert Tank. Now, for the vast majority of bowlers, most people will prefer to throw the Tank Blitz over the Desert Tank, just because of how much stronger it is and how many different parts of the lane you can play with the Blitz versus this Desert Tank. Like I said before, the reason the Desert Tank is my favorite bowling ball of all time is because it lets me play my favorite part of the lane on a house shot. Now, one quick thing that I did want to add that I forgot to mention before is that when it comes to layouts, the Tank Blitz will also be significantly more versatile because the core is so much stronger. My Desert Tank is drilled 45 by 4 by 25, and even with that 4-inch pin to pap, because that core is so small, it doesn't flare nearly as much as the Tank Blitz does with the same layout. If you haven't checked out the Motiv Blue Facebook page, I highly recommend that you guys go check it out. We are turning that into an unbelievable bowling community. And then if you really want to help support the channel and get better at bowling, I highly suggest that you click that link to my Patreon. The last thing I'm going to leave you guys here with are the tracer lines with the Tank Blitz and the Desert Tank. Well, there you have it, folks. There's my in-depth comparison between the Tank Blitz and the Desert Tank. Let me know down below in the comments what you thought about this video, and if you want to see more videos like this in the future. Click right here to watch one of my other videos. Click right here to subscribe. Right here to subscribe. Till next time, guys. And if you guys are watching this far into the video, that means that you guys are truly fans of this Motiv Blue YouTube page. So head on over to patreon.com/Motiv Blue and sign up.